Yeah, you
They
think
just
I'm being
hear-
funny. I'm
You
serious.
just hear everyone else singing just as badly because we're all sick.
All right, for those that are watching the video, you're a little behind. We're in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verses 25 through 20, or 23 through 25. I forgot to push the record button. So Romans chapter 14, verses 5 through 6, going along with withholding for God, or perhaps doing something you're not required to for God, and yet doing it for His glory is a good thing. Says one person considers one day more sacred than another. Another considers every day alike. Each of them should be fully convinced in their own mind. Whoever regards one day as special does so to the Lord. Whoever eats meat does so to the Lord, for they give thanks to God. And whoever abstains does so to the Lord and give thanks to God. So if you do it for God, you're good. And God appreciates it. If you don't worry about it, but you give thanks to God, you're good. If you abstain or you set certain days apart and make them special for God, you're good. As long as you're not trying to make other people do it too. Because not everyone's called to it. But if you have a personal conviction of it, then it is good. As long as you have the right intention, the right motive. Problem for Timothy was he was doing it for looks. He was abstaining from wine. And as Baptists, we can probably identify with that some. It is in the faith and message to stay away from it. But he was doing it because there were people looking at him and he wanted to look holy. He wanted to look righteous. So he committed to drinking only water. Why did he get hung up on this? Because they had a lot of wild and ungodly things going on in Ephesus. There were people that were challenging him because he was young. There were those that were saying, "Oh, you've got to be circumcised to be a Christian." And there were those saying, "Well, you've got to follow all the festivals of the Old Testament to be a Christian." And there were those that were saying, "You've got to do only these foods so that you're pure." Because they wanted purity, but they also wanted people to be able to see it. When you do it so people can see you doing it, does that honor God?
No.
No. So he's competing with all these guys that are putting up this false front. He said, if I'm going to be correcting people, I got to look like I'm godly too. So he makes a vow, I'm not going to drink any wine, I'll drink only water.
Well, isn't he trying to lead by example?
Elaborate.
Well, I mean, that's maybe why he's abstaining, because he wants everyone else to abstain too. And he can't preach against it if he's drinking it.
That could be, but here's the thing. Wine was something that was used as a medicine.
For your stomach.
About two main things that you used, oil and wine. Those were your two kind of, take care of everything medicines of the day. They didn't have Walgreens or a pharmacy to go to and choose from thousands of pills that you can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Today, you go, I don't know if it's this way here or not, but down in Texas, the city signs say what level of water cleanness you get in that city. I don't know if it's like that in Oklahoma or not.
You can access
Some
it.
places.
Yeah, you can see
It
it
tells you
online.
all the chemicals that are in the water. Oh yeah. It's
Oh,
bad
well,
here.
what our sign would say, where I grew up,
Oh,
on the bottom it would say superior.
Oh,
It would tell you that's the kind, that's how clean the water is. It was on the sign, but yeah, you can do that too. I get those in
that's
my
why we
email
don't
and
have
in
a
the mail.
sign, cause ours sucks.
oh, it's bad.
I'm just saying Texas does it a little different. I know if they do it the same way here. I don't look that closely at the signs.
It's a website and it's not good. Don't drink the tap water.
I don't drink the tap water. Anyway, getting back on topic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Getting
It's
back
okay
on
to
topic.
drink tap water if you got a
If you've got a filter, yes.
filter system,
Why do you want a filter system?
so you
All the
have
bad
clean
stuff
water.
out.
Purify it.
Purify it. What's in water?
Oh, tap
Dirt.
water.
Chlorine.
Dirt.
Dirt, chlorine, some places lead, bunch of chemicals. What do you get in water if they don't add the chlorine?
Add teeth.
You get parasites, isn't it? Like if they-
You get all kinds of germs and parasites and stuff.
Yes.
They didn't have carbon filters to put under your sink back then.
Yeah.
They didn't even have running water.
Bottled water.
They didn't have bottled water. Their water was not pure. There were all kinds of bugs in them. And I don't mean like insects, I mean like illness stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful, you end up with something nasty.
Feces.
It was not working out for him with his stomach. He had sensitive stomach. But the false teachers there, they were going around, and this is what it says earlier in this letter. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 3 through 4. They forbid people to marry and order them to abstain from certain foods which God created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and who know the truth. So there were others that were doing that, and he kind of, it's like, well, if I do that, but I do it for the kind of right reasons, maybe it'll work. Wrong is wrong. It was about looks. It was about appearance. That's what this means. Timothy, his intentions would end up being shown. You cannot hide intent forever. So he was abstaining for appearances, but Paul tells him, keep yourself pure. Don't get into what people look at. Don't try to please people, please God.
Yeah.
You know what, DJ? You can run, but you cannot hide.
This is true.
Yep.
Especially if you gotta bend over and you're me.
You can run, but you cannot hide.
But he's telling Timothy, you gotta have the right intent behind what you're doing. If you're doing it to honor God, that's one thing. But if you're doing it so people look at you, so that they'll listen to you, or so they think you're righteous or holy, then that's not godly, and that's in the flesh, and it's a sin.
Yeah.
He's correcting even someone that he himself had trained. Remember, Timothy traveled with him. He was his little,
Man.
he was the guy who was trained personally by Paul. And then he was placed here as the pastor of the area, but he still had things to learn. Paul had to correct him. And Paul wasn't shy about correcting him. We need to be that way as well. We don't need to be like, oh, I'm going to throw it in your face. But just say, hey, I've seen this. I'm concerned about this. This isn't right. Go in love, which is what Paul's doing here. And we're supposed to help one another that way. But we don't do it to say, I'm better than you.
Hey, point at me.
Oh, I was pointing at Bill.
Yeah.
or to say, well, you're a lowly sinner. You're terrible. or to make someone feel bad. You say it to help them to grow. And you do it out of love and the leading of God's Spirit.
Yes.
We've got to be careful about it because there are so many people that just do it and they don't do it right. They don't do it out of love. They do it out of cockiness. They do it to compare themselves. So many other things that are sinful. We help each other. Sometimes we don't see what's going on. Sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes we're so busy we don't see it. Sometimes we're so far in it we don't see it. Sometimes we think we're doing the right thing and we're not. It's possible. We have a misunderstanding or somebody taught us wrong at some time. I mean, preachers aren't perfect either. So somebody might teach someone something wrong. So he gives them prescribed advice. Go ahead and drink a little wine. Go ahead and drink a little. Why? Because it's medicine. It is medicine. And that day and time, that's what it's used for. He's not telling them, oh, well, you need to go out and you can drink socially and you can go to the bar on Saturday night and drink all you want. He's not saying that. He's saying take a little bit to help yourself.
Yes.
Because it has a medicinal value.
Yes.
But do it in moderation is also there because he says take a little wine. He wants him to be healthy, wants him to do well, to be able to serve, and he has frequent illnesses that this will help. But like I said a minute ago, it was not a license to go get drunk. As a matter of fact, 1 Timothy 3:3, when they're talking about qualities for leadership in the church, it says, not given to drunkenness. So if he started going out and said, oh, well, Paul told me I can go drink, so I'm gonna go down, his whole thing of bourbon. Let's drink the whole bottle. That's not what's being said here. Even though people have tried to use it out of context that way.
Of course. They always do that.
Oh, anytime you can take, and Jesus drank wine. We used to make water into wine at a party.
Hear that a lot.
And then they just walk with that without looking at things like this, not given to drunkenness.
But he said a little bit.
Exactly. He said, take a little wine. Use it medicinally. They used it to clean their water too. But one of the things about their wine compared to our wine,
I was gonna say,
it was watered down.
Yeah.
It was watered down. It wasn't just like, oh, there's a Chardonnay right here and I'm drinking it straight. No, it was watered down. It was used to kill the germs, even though they didn't understand germs back then. They knew that if I put a little bit of alcohol in this, it kills the germs. Just like how we use rubbing alcohol whenever we're, like you're getting a shot or something. What they do, they take alcohol, rub it on, wherever they're giving you a shot. Why?
Kill the germs.
Because it kills the germs. They didn't understand everything about it, but they knew that if they put a little bit in there, mixed it with their water, it would keep them from getting sick. And that's what he's saying here, don't just do this to do it and allow yourself to get sick because you're trying to keep up appearances.
So that's what those guys put in their drink when they got a glass of water. I mean, you add a little water to their drink. What's that drink they do that with?
I have no idea.
I don't know either, but I see them do it.
Yeah, I don't know that one. But if he had just used it as an excuse for drunkenness, he couldn't be a leader until he gave it up. So it had a purpose. It was to be in moderation and done for the right reasons. We too need to do what we do for the right reasons. What we do for God, first of all. We do it to bring Him glory, to bring Him honor. We don't take and hold somebody to that same standard if we have a conviction, like how Paul was saying, oh, certain days or certain foods. If that's what's on your heart to do for the Lord, do it because you're honoring God. But if it's not explicitly written out in the Bible, don't say everybody's got to do it. And do it with the right intent, no matter what it is.
Yeah, in the military, we had, Fridays was the day you had, clam chowder or fish or something. Can you imagine that the Air Force had to do that? I could smell that stuff when I opened the door.
I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it one bit. All right, any thoughts or questions? All right, well, I will stop this at the right time at least, even if I didn't start it.